Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Ethereum and look at the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation as well as the Ethereum USD valuation. If you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Also, check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Ether has shown some strength in the last few days. Of course, it is too early to call still. We made a video a few days ago saying, is this the beginning of a major momentum shift in the Ether Bitcoin valuation, right? Is it the beginning of a momentum shift in that valuation? And we're just simply not sure yet. Certainly, in the short term, we've seen a pretty nice move back up, right? We were all the way down at 0.0227. We've come all the way back up, and right now we're around 0.027, around 0.0269. But we are closing back in on 0.027 or so. So one of the things that we want to make sure we keep an eye on is Bitcoin. It always, and I mean always, boils down to whether Bitcoin can just sit still or not. Ethereum is easily spooked. The altcoin market in general is easily spooked. If you think about it, if we make an analogy, Bitcoin is like a dog, and it's just going, wild and crazy and just running up. Price continues to push higher. Sometimes we get a little bit of a dip, but it just keeps running, and it doesn't really get spooked by much of anything. And then you have other coins like Ethereum, and they're more like cats, right? They sometimes come out, but a lot of times they can easily get spooked, and then they'll go hide for a few more days, and then they'll come back out once they think the coast is clear. Ethereum is, of course, as always, waiting to make sure the coast is clear. If the coast isn't clear, it's going to go back into hiding for a few more days. Okay? What makes the coast clear? Again, Bitcoin needs to go sideways. And if, carrying the analogy on even further, we need Bitcoin to learn the command stay or, sit. Hopefully not down, boy, yet, because we don't want Bitcoin to go down. Not quite yet. We would like for Ethereum to make a move before Bitcoin corrects. I mean, and again, Bitcoin could continue higher from here before it corrects. But again, if we're looking for this move for Ethereum to continue, which again, we know historically speaking, it tends to happen in December or January, if history is any indication, then what we would want to see, again, is for Bitcoin to just chill out, right? Let's let Bitcoin go sideways. So far, if we look at, say, daily candles and we zoom in here, let's get rid of this regression rainbow and let's just zoom all the way in to where we currently are. It's barely started to slow down, okay? If we can get a few more, if we can do something like that, then I think Ethereum is going to be back in business and really, really performing well. If, however, Bitcoin continues to climb, it doesn't mean Ether can't go up in terms of USD. In fact, there's a good chance that it would be dragged up by Bitcoin. But again, we would like to see the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation continue to get back on course. If, in fact, we were to come back up to the top of this trend, it would essentially entail us doubling our Bitcoin valuation. And if we double it, we're looking at, $1,400-$1,500 Ether. Now, are we, we're certainly not guaranteed anything like that. We're just looking at the trend that we've been on. We were on it for most of 2020. We broke down below this trend in December. Funny enough, December typically is when we have the best time to buy Ethereum. Again, if you look at the 90-day of Ethereum, the 90-day ROI, it tends to be really good in November, December, January timeframe. Not always, not every year, but a lot of years, on average, that tends to be the best time to buy it. So we just want to keep an eye on it and make sure it's going to continue to do well. If we look at, say, the daily time frame on Ether USD and put on our Ethereum regression band here, you can see we've far exceeded where we were earlier this year. Remember when we made the accumulation phase of a lifetime video for Ethereum in that region, and then right here we did the reaccumulation phase of a lifetime. We are so far above these levels now. And in fact, the fair value when we left it over here was around 235. Now the fair value of Ethereum, according to this fit, is around 300. I'm not saying we're going to go to 300. I mean, if you look over here, we left the fair value for years before returning back into it. And by the time we return back into it, you know, the price of Ether could be a lot higher than it currently is. But with that said, as we gear up for Q1, which again tends to bring the best returns for Ethereum against Bitcoin, we just want to remain resolute in the idea that we only expect Ethereum to improve against Bitcoin if Bitcoin volatility calms down. There's no free lunch, right? No amount of historical months or years will necessarily, you know, imply that it has to go a certain way. We want to see Bitcoin volatility calm down, maybe stick around 26K, 27K, and I don't think it's going to be that much harder for Ethereum to continue to move up. The other day we did a video where we looked at, you know, levels of overextension from the 20-week moving average and looked at some pretty dubious extrapolations, remember? And again, remember, we're not even at the same level of overvaluation from the 20-week as we were in August of 2020, as measured from the USD 20-week. Remember, if you measure it in terms of the Bitcoin valuation, Ethereum is still and remains in a bear market, okay? So the Ether Bitcoin valuation right now, as measured by, say, being above or below the 20-week moving average, we're currently in a bear market, which is this red shaded region over here. So in order to get to the same level of overvaluation there, again, we have a long way to go, And I mean, we're like at the halfway point. We're at the halfway point. So hopefully we get this Q1 Ethereum move really kicked off on the right step, on the right foot. Certainly it seems that there's a decent chance that this is our capitulation wick, which oftentimes we need a capitulation wick before we can really see a huge momentum shift, right? A lot of times we get these, you know, big capitulation wicks at various phases before there's finally a turnaround point. And again, as we've showed before, they tend to come in December. Now, another thing that we've looked at in the past a few times is the Ether Bitcoin daily RSI. We'll first look at the weekly RSI just to see where it is. But if you look at the weekly RSI, and we're going to make this a little bit brighter so you guys can easily see it, we bottomed locally at around 38. Okay, this is where we bottomed locally. We could continue to go lower. However, if you look at the daily time frame, as we showed in the past, every December it capitulated around the same level. In this December, it capitulated around 30 or 31. In this one, it was around 24 or so. In this one, it was also around 24. In this one, it was also around 24. The following one, it capitulated all the way down at 20. This one went all the way back down to 24. So the Ether Bitcoin valuation every December has more or less reached around 24. Some, you know, one year it was a little bit higher at around 31. One year it was a little bit lower at around 20. But more or less, this has been our turnaround point. And now the Ether Bitcoin RSI on the daily time frame has moved all the way back up to around 45. So a pretty significant move in the short term from a low all the way down in the mid-20s. So we definitely want to keep an eye on this and see if Ethereum can continue this pretty impressive move in the short term against Bitcoin and kick off Q1 in the right way. But as always, it will ultimately depend on whether Bitcoin will sit, stay, go sideways, just calm down so that the rest of the market does not get too spooked. If you guys like the content, subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Also check out the Telegram channel in the description below, as well as the premium list in the description below. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye.